Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson is everything wrong with society. So for y'all that don't know, today is November 15th. So at the time that this video is getting posted, man, or actually the day, Jake Paul and Mike Tyson will be fighting. All right. Now, I know a lot of people are like, obviously Mike Tyson's gonna win. Like, what the hell? What are we talking about? But hey, this fight is very controversial apparently because like Mike Tyson has literally gone through health ailments. They've had to delay the fight multiple times. And it's like, bro, their age gap is fucking insane. Let me check their age gap. So Jake Paul is 27 years old and Mike Tyson is 58, bro. There is literally like a 30-year age gap, man. You never know, because right now Jake Paul is in his prime, whether you like him or not, all right? Sure, he does knock out everything but boxers, plumbers, I don't know, esports players, man. He'd be knocking out everybody but actual boxers, you know what I'm saying? And he did lose to Tommy Fury from what I remember, which was an actual boxer. So the fact that this fight is happening though, while Mike Tyson is going through all these ailments and shit, the dude is damn near 60 or whatever, bro. Clearly this is like a money grab, right? They don't give a fuck. Mike Tyson's name is so big. Everybody around the world knows Mike Tyson. People are going to be watching this and stuff. I guess we'll have to see how it goes. I'm telling y'all, you never know. If I wake up though in a timeline where Jake Paul knocks out Mike Tyson, man, we're living in the worst timeline. I'm letting y'all know right now, the next couple years, we're gonna have some type of war starting. I don't know, because that just doesn't even seem right. Let's go ahead and see this video.
Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson is everything wrong with society. This is a fight that once again pushes the message that clout, money, and influence is valued above everything else in our society. And while it's going to be fun to watch the fight, the fact that it's even taking place can
I wonder how much a ticket is for it. So for the very back seats, I don't know if this is it, because why does Jake Paul look like, bro, is that Team 10, bro? Bro, Jake Paul hasn't looked like that in like 8 years or something. 125 for the ticket all the way in the back. And the front row, very front row, was 35,000. Now that is crazy, bro. If you're dishing out this much for a Mike Tyson not at his prime and Jake Paul, you're dumb as hell, bro.
A lot about where society is headed. If you were to have told somebody 50 years ago about this situation, it would just seem laughable, absurd, and downright stupid. But now it's becoming increasingly acceptable that any influencer with enough followers can become the face of boxing, taking down older men from their former.
I will say, out of all the influencers though, like Jake Paul is up there influencer boxing and shit. They don't even consider him like a social media vlogger for real. They really consider him a boxer now, you know. I'm surprised because like I would have never guessed the dude that boxed Deji as his debut would be fighting Mike Tyson. Like I would suspect KSI would be the one that had a longer boxing career, but you know, he quit to make music, and yeah, that seems like it's going well for him.
And using their reputation to force your brand into the public consciousness. Boxing is meant to be a test of strength and durability, a display of discipline and dedication. Jake Paul and just influencer culture in general has turned—
Yo, if I ever fall off, I am not boxing. That is not going to be one of the things I am doing, all right? Man, I remember there was a time any influencer when they fell off, and it still happens now, but influencer boxing low-key fell off. Hey guys, Tom NFG here. You know, only half of you guys are subscribed and even less of you guys have noties on. I hate to be a burden, but you know, I really appreciate it if you hit that sub button and the little bell next to it. You know, it doesn't take long. I know you can get mixed up in the algorithm and everything. But yeah, also tune into the streams. You know, we have a lot of fun over there. I'm telling you, we have a lot of parties going on over there. Yeah, that's it. Bye. Damn. But like they would just be get in the boxing ring and then they'd be right back up, and that is not about to be me, y'all.
To a spectacle, and on the surface it makes sense. It's great marketing, it brings in a bunch of cash, and may actually promote boxing as a whole. And of course, Jake Paul and lots of these other influencers are playing a role. Just like when he started building his brand online, Paul has had no issue making himself the supposed villain. He almost seems to revel in it, playing up the arrogant persona he spent years building and angering fans whenever he could. Now most I
will say Jake Paul's persona is so corny. Like I never see it and I'm like, oh my god, Jake Paul is so hilarious, bro. He just be cringe, bro. Like if he had a good personality or was actually funny, then people would probably be like, all right, it's cool.
Boxing have to claw their way to the top. They spend years honing their skills before they're even given a shot at recognition, much less the big leagues. Paul, in contrast, with clout and influence, has essentially paid his way to fight in the big leagues. And if you have enough money and clout, it seems like in our society today, you can almost do anything now, no matter where it's—
Okay, yeah, he did pay his way to the top of the boxing game in some way, but he also like did work for it too. Like he started off boxing Deji, then he slowly started boxing people that were stronger and stronger. Did lose to an actual boxer, but
just or not, using his money and influence, he was able to get athletes with legends behind their names to fight him. And to his audience, he was taking on the best of the best, which added weight to his—
They was swearing this dude was gonna like knock him out or something. I forgot his name. I literally don't even remember his name. Man got knocked out in like the first round in like 10 seconds, bro. That's the worst shit I've ever watched in my life.
Behind their names to fight him. And to his audience, he was taking on the best of the best, which added weight to his declarations of being a great fighter when he won. And it annoyed boxing fans to no end, especially since most could see that almost all of his fights favored him. All of his opponents seemed to be older, retired fighters in financially difficult spots. That or they weren't even boxers. Take his fight with Ben Askren, for example. In his prime, Askren was an incredible fighter, so good in fact that he represented the US at the 2008 Olympics. Jake Paul
2008? Bro, he's that old? Nah, bro, Jake is a fucking dickhead, man. Bro, 2008, bro, I was first entering like kindergarten or some shit.
Paul's decision to take on a former Olympic athlete was impressive, almost brave. However, this loses all meaning when you start to realize that Askren is a wrestler and not a boxer. The influencer wasn't fighting one of the best US wrestlers, he was fighting the worst striker in the UFC history.
Yeah, the dude came in there for a bag, clearly.
While the fights definitely weren't staged, it was apparent that Paul had taken the easy way to the top. And it's not necessarily his fault if he's able to do it and make a bunch of money from doing it. It kind of makes sense. But at the same time, the fact that this stuff is allowed and just continues to go on, taking precedence over real boxing, is showing what's really valued. It isn't just the dedication, skill, rising to the top from nothing. What the sport really seems to be valuing today is clout, money, and superficial flashiness. This is why boxing elites and many others question the legitimacy of his career. Many suspected the influencer wouldn't stand a chance against—
Hey bro, that's social media for you nowadays. Shoot, it's just way easier for somebody mediocre to become big fast like that. Even when you think of music and shit, the people that are blowing up nowadays are people that like blow for like a 5-second TikTok song or something. A lot of times, bro, the music don't even be feeling genuine anymore. I don't know.
Against a professional boxer. And the same could be said for KSI and all these other influencers. So spurred on by the fact that no one trusted in his ability, and the fact that Jake is a relatively good boxer, he challenged Tommy Fury. Fury's the
but can we really blame them? Because like the other boxers, like Floyd Mayweather chose to box Logan Paul. Like he was like, all right, cool for a bag. So it's like we also got to blame them too, because they could fight like actual real fighters and like keep the boxing fury going on, or etiquette.
Actually dared to fight, and it's obvious why. Having grown used to the slower pace of former opponents, Paul wasn't ready for Fury's rapid fire hits, and unsurprisingly Fury won, and those who doubted the influencer's skills felt justified. Now most people could ignore Jake again. For the average person, he slipped back into oblivion.
It's crazy how like every boxer literally denies that they lost after. Like I remember watching this. Jake didn't do that bad in the Tommy Fury one. I think he went after talking about, oh, I should have won that. Like what the f, this and that. It's like, should you have? You clearly lost.
What his next few fights were bittersweet wins, but they just weren't landing the same, and the now 27-year-old wasn't really having it. He needed a fight that would grab
Damn, he's 27, he's getting up there.
Would anger them so much that they couldn't help but pay attention to him. A boxing fight that should never happen. A fight that's completely about just clout, money, and nothing else. He needed to challenge one of the most iconic fighters in the world. A fighter who was once so dangerous, Jake's life would have been in danger had he fought him in his prime.
Nah, for real.
Mike Tyson.
Bro, Mike Tyson in his prime versus Jake Paul. I think Jake Paul literally would have got killed. I think he literally would have got killed. There is no way he would last more than a minute. And I remember reading the story. Mike Tyson literally used to cry for his opponents because he knew he would hurt them badly. That's some killer energy.
There's one thing that you can't deny about Jake Paul. He's confident. Few people can challenge Mike to a fight and come out the other side unscathed, even at his age.
I wonder if he's truly like scared inside, like Jake Paul is kind of like shaking or something, thinking about like, damn. He obviously has to act tough in front of the cameras because you can't look like a bitch boxing. But I wonder if he's like low-key nervous, or like Logan's coming to him like, yo, bro, this is Mike Tyson, man. You got to be careful.
Who faced the boxer in the ring got their backsides handed to them. One even lost part of his ear. So when Jake issued his challenge, fans' responses ranged from outrage to excitement. But the real elephant in the room here is that Tyson is obviously 3 decades older than the influencer. He made a name for himself in the boxing world before Paul was even born. The only reason he stopped was because he couldn't do it anymore. During his time in the ring, Tyson fought in 58 matches and won 50 of them. And most of these were knockouts, his most iconic being against Michael Spinks in 1988. In just over 91 seconds,
that dude was 31-0?
The fight is now famed as the 6th shortest heavyweight title fight in history. And even though he's nearing 60, which seems to level out the playing field, he should really never be fighting Jake Paul in the first place.
Okay, this is a weird comment. I don't know if it's weird, but like Mike Tyson has like pretty good skin for somebody that's older.
Now, for a man pushing 60, Tyson is in incredible shape. Leading up to his fight with Paul, he hit his sparring partner so hard that he had to be sent to hospital.
Damn!
Not only that, but Gene Kilroy, a longtime friend of Muhammad Ali, was shocked at how far he'd come despite his age.
This is the strongest I've ever seen you.
Yeah?
Yeah, the strongest I've ever, and I know you since you're 13. I think this impressed the shit out of me. Nothing impresses me.
As fit as he may be,
Yeah, I don't think that dude would lie for no reason. I don't know. I've seen some of these videos of him boxing and stuff, bro. The hits look so fucking lethal. Yeah, I'd rather get hit by a train than get behind one of these hits.
that doesn't erase the fact that Tyson is old and is currently dealing with the consequences of his tumultuous past. He was even forced to postpone his initial fight with Jay due to health
Yeah, I remember
complications,
seeing this.
And he's dealing with more than just ulcer flare-ups that need immediate medical attention. As in 2022, Tyson had to use a walking stick in a wheelchair due to nerve issues that affected his legs.
That's crazy
Health
work.
issues aside, he also hasn't fought professionally in over 20 years.
That's crazy.
Which is why many people are worried that this bout with Jake might actually be too much for him. Promoters like Eddie Hearn have been particularly outspoken about the ordeal. His biggest concerns are the danger Tyson will be putting himself in and the lack of respect for the integrity of the sport.
Because
I'm telling y'all, Brett. Yes, it's Mike Tyson. He's Mike Tyson. This is a young man's game a lot of times. Athletes, it's like a young man's game. The oldest athlete is who? Like LeBron in basketball. And even then, in the next like 2 years, bro, LeBron, even if he's still good to play, he's gonna retire. He's not about to stay in because, you know, you want to keep your body at least healthy for longer, you know?
I think it's just disrespectful to the sport, but I don't want to see it. I don't want to watch my all-time favourite fighters, one of my heroes, I guess, in a boxing ring at 55 years of age, a shell of what he once was.
It's not even
He made it
55,
clear
it's
that if
58,
Tyson
I
was
think.
seriously hurt in the ring, it was on the people who allowed this match to even happen. And Jake has actually also shown concern for the older fighter's health as well. After Tyson's ulcer flare-up in May, he assured people his primary concern was the boxer's health. However, he's also not giving Tyson much choice in the matter. Now, of course, Paul seems to be running on pure ego in the build-up to this fight. If you listen to any of his interviews, it's evident that he's on an unearned power trip. Sure, he's spoken about how
No, this by far, if Jake Paul really like knocks him out or beats him, bro, he's about to go worldwide. Like, people are gonna know his name. Bro, y'all know the meme where it's like, my grandfather had Muhammad Ali, my father had Mike Tyson, and I have Jake Paul. The meme is going to exist. It's actually going to exist if he beats him.
is that Tyson agreed to fight him.
It is an honor to step in there with one of the three biggest legends in the history of the sport.
But he's also
Three?
regularly declared
Ooh,
that he's
who's the other
fighting
one?
Tyson and no one else. It puts the boxer in an awkward position. Either he doesn't fight the influencer, ending his boxing career once and for all, which most would welcome, or he risks a dangerous fight that could leave him hurt and ruin the reputation of boxing as a whole. Jake is also constantly talking himself up, something that's unsurprising for clout-hungry influencers. But he seems particularly overconfident. It's almost like he's compensating for something. The what for revealed itself in an interview at the end of last month. While talking with the Today Show Australia, Paul insisted he is a killer, and that he was born to be world champion, not an easy task for a non-professional boxer. But nonetheless, he's determined to be so.
People just think I'm this nice, crazy, smiley social media content creator. I like to have fun. You know, I've always been the class clown, but I'm a killer. This is what I was bred to do. This is my destiny.
Deji, you started this, man.
He sounds less like a man sure of his abilities and more like someone trying to get people to take him seriously. And perhaps he cares more about what people think than he's letting on. And unfortunately for him, everyone but his YouTube audience seems to be on Tyson's side. Even fighters like Quinton Jackson and Conor McGregor want Tyson to shut that kid up and rattle him. But this fight between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson is more than just an embarrassment for the boxing world. It will become a demonstration of how society rewards and often values showmanship over hard work. These kinds of novelty bouts are nearly always disappointing and they're always forgotten shortly afterwards. Everyone remembers George Foreman's fight against Ali, or the time he took back the belt a stunning 2 decades later, but barely anyone remembers the time he fought 5 men in one night.
Damn!
They have the same place in history, as it comes across just so.
Nah, he's him, bro. A grill fought 5 people in a night? Crazy. You get the joke? Because it's George Foreman, it's a grill. They had a different mentality back then. If they want to bring real boxers back and stuff, just pay them. They don't pay boxers shit. Like, if you're starting off boxing, you literally get paid dog shit.
Absurd. And even that fight was still a great display of strength and boxing prowess. But these influencer fights are a bit different to the classic exhibition matches
Yeah,
we
this
used
is ridiculous,
to see.
bro.
At first, they
Jake
just
looking
fought
like a
between each
fucking
other.
California
It was completely
lesbian.
opaque with what they were doing with the first Logan v KSI fight. Both of the influencers got to advertise themselves in front of a whole new audience. It was also a great way of perpetuating and monetizing their manufactured feuds.
Yo,
Gears-
I think some people don't understand, bro. Bro, most people know about this fight or whatever when it happened, right? But this shit was so huge on social media, bro. the hype for it, everybody on YouTube was talking about this shit. They did good ass marketing with this too. And hey, whether you like Logan Paul or not, he's good at marketing, all right? Because he knew like that rivalry online, everybody was like, KSI and Logan Paul hate each other. And then they made a drink together that became Prime, you know, one of the biggest like upcoming drinks.
After their fights, Logan and KSI are now in business selling moldy lunchable knockoffs, making it seem like they were always friends and business partners. Before, these fights were clearly just about the money and you could easily ignore them to focus on real boxing matches. But now these fights are starting to poison the rest of boxing, and if they continue to bring in massive crowds,
YouTubers need to stay out of the ring. But why though? They're ruining boxing. Like the fact that the boxing people that come up with these events are letting these YouTubers come together and stuff and do this shit, then it's just showing that like they can even see the decline in like boxing. So they're doing this, man. You got to talk to them, the ringleaders, you know?
it could easily become the norm. This is one of the first of these big fights that actually isn't an exhibition match. It's going on both of their records. So if Jake Paul does end up victorious, it would be a fitting analogy for the state of boxing right now. New money triumphing over an old, tired ex-champion. It's made even more tragic by the fact that Tyson is one of those rare modern celebrities whose fame is directly a result of his own grit and talent. And you can't really blame him for cashing in on his past achievements, as Tyson will earn a reported $20 million from the fight. But
does he even need this money, bro? Like, he gotta be worth at least 100 M's. At minimum, there's no way. Like, 20 mil extra, bro?
That's only half of what Jake Paul will make.
Yeah, Jake is getting it
doesn't
back.
seem right.
Jake
it's
is
often a sad story when ex-boxers go back into the ring against far younger men if they lose badly. Another reason influencers have latched onto boxing is that it gives them a feeling of legitimacy. Jake Paul wants to make it as a boxer, or at least he says that he does, because it would be a real achievement. He never will, of course, and his ego tripping takes up space and attention which is directly needed by the rest of the boxing world. There are obviously far more skilled boxers in the world, people who have dedicated years to climbing up the ranks, and many will never even get a taste of the viewership drawn to the Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight. And it's kind of infuriating that an influencer who's been in the game for a few years can earn more from showing up to a fight than a pro can ever win from winning one, especially for long-time boxing fans. Even more infuriating is how little new audiences actually care about the sport. While influencers are introducing an entire generation to boxing, there's little to no interest in pro matches anymore, as the only thing that's actually promoted by the boxing networks is drama between influencers and how quickly they can take each other out. And this is all because influencer fights are just a lot more flashier. They're essentially WWE without the professionals or safety measures. It's no wonder that Logan...
I think I will say it is falling off where, I mean, unless if somebody like huge nowadays, like, I don't know, Tyson or some shit, or I Show Speed enter a boxing match, then like, I say this shit has been dying off for a while.
New move is to literally work for the WWE. And the fact that this is just boxing now is warping the young generation's sense of value and success. It seems like these days your success is often measured just by how many followers you have. It doesn't even matter if you're skilled at your craft. If you aren't earning vast amounts of money from it, you just aren't successful. Or rather, that's the mindset of a lot of the younger generation, as learned from following people like Jake Paul and other influencers. Now, he may inspire someone to follow in his footsteps, but what happens when they don't succeed as fast as he did? They may get frustrated to the point they resent the sport and eventually drop it. While the situation is hypothetical, it is still very likely. But even more worrying is the fact that to make it as a boxer, or anything really in life anymore, it's more about your clout and appearance rather than the substance behind it. Valuing flashiness over professionalism is extending far beyond just boxing. And even more worrying,
yeah, this is pretty much for everything nowadays. Like, it don't matter what it is.
Is that we're starting to see this in the political sphere, as people have completely forgotten today that they shouldn't really rely on their favorite celebrities for political guidance, nor celebrities to run for president, as they're
I really hope in the next like election that happens or whatever. I think it's 2028, bro. Like, stop with the celebrity shit. We don't give a fuck. Come out with just policies, right? Let people know. Just make yourself be a good personality. Like Obama, for example. The nigga stood out, bro, because he was a good personality.
Expertise is flashiness entertainment, not what's best for an entire country's governance. But as younger generations are pushed more and more towards distrusting their government that has abandoned them, they rely on stars to make their critical decisions. So many people trust celebrity agendas more than even politicians. They'll trust Hollywood stars virtue signaling or billionaires trying to be relatable more than actual professionals in the field. Just like the boxing fights that we're starting to see, hatred and division is the best thing to make money. It's the best thing that gets views, and it's the best things to profit from the views. Just like in politics, the stronger and more dividing your opinions, the more fame and attention you seem to get, and thus the more power. Which is leading to a world where we value superficial facades and increasing division and disunity over everything else. An entire society continually arguing over who's going to win in a fight. And
what did that say? Tyson first round? Tyson first round knockout after 42 seconds. Yo, this fight is going to be so interesting, bro.
Arguing over who's going to win in a fight and who looks the best. Now, in regards to this fight, the fight will be huge. It'll probably go down as one of the biggest events in the sport's history, but not because of the skill involved. It's all just because of outrage clicks. People wanting to see Jay get punched in the face by Mike, and laughing at his weakened abilities. All for a giant profit from the flashiness, no substance.
And the fact that they're doing it on Netflix is smart too, because like everybody got a Netflix subscription. So this actually might be very, very big.
That's changing boxing for the absolute worst. No matter what happens in this fight, Jake Paul won't emerge as a hero, and he knows that. It's just part of the persona. If he actually does beat Mike Tyson, he might become the face of boxing for a little bit. But
I think he'll become
a
the face, yeah.
An old man for that title to get more views and clout. On the other hand, if Tyson wins, Jake Paul will be the laughing stock of the sport. But as much as people will continue to shame him, he doesn't care what people think.
Yo, who are these ring girls, bro? I low-key might become a boxer just to be with these ring girls, man. Shoot, I'm around these women all the time, bro. I'm gonna forget I have to like train and shit.
And it's easy to see why. At the end of the day, he will make a bunch of money from this and become more famous for it. And you can't really blame him for that. It's more the fact that he's rewarded for doing so in the first place. And this is just one of the most frustrating things about this entire situation. While you might not want to support the fight, there is one big silver lining to it all that we haven't discussed: the undercard. Lots of these fights are entirely deserving of their own spot in the
I don't even know these people. That's the crazy thing. That just shows like boxing's not even about hard work anymore, because I don't know any of these people.
limelight. Like Taylor vs Serrano too. Their first fight was a sight to behold. It was a war, going to the full 10 rounds and ending in a controversial split decision. Now the long-awaited rematch, which was put on hold when the Tyson Paul fight got delayed in July, is finally happening. It's the decider between two world champions at the top of their class. This is the fight to watch on the night, not the novelty match afterwards. Then there's the showdown in the men's WBC welterweight bout between Barrio and Ramos. And while Barrios is the clear favorite in the rankings and record, there's still lots of potential for an upset. They're both dangerous fights, and while lots of their previous fights with other opponents have gone the distance, a fiery finish
It's crazy because nobody's gonna watch these. Everybody's just gonna like turn on the whenever it starts and be like, all right, we'll be back in like 2 hours or something. Jake Paul and Mike Tyson are fighting.
Really off the table. Obviously, there's been far less publicity for these fights, and it's a shame they're on the undercard at all. But the hunger and drive that these real athletes have far outweighs all of that. At the end of the day, this is what should be getting people's attention. So if you already have a Netflix subscription, these are the fights worth tuning
I definitely
into.
gotta tune in.
And if you've got the time and the curiosity, maybe watch the fight that happens after as well.
W video, man. Hey, listen. The future. Did Jake Paul really knock out Mike Tyson? Are we in the worst timeline? Or the future? Did Mike Tyson really knock out Jake Paul and we shut him up forever? I guess in the next episode of Dragon Ball Z, we'll see. Yeah, if you're watching on the tube, make sure to join the Discord and watch streams.
Subscribe to Tommy NFG.